Happy Easter, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you 6 funny and unconventional Easter egg ideas. And with that, let's get right into it. This first one I'm calling snake eggs. And it's essentially like the old school prank where it's a can of snakes where you open up a Pringles jar and snakes shoot out. And all it is a simple homemade spring, which I'll show you how to make in a second. And you can leave it as just the spring, or if you want it to look more traditional or colorful, you can put a cloth around it. Step one in making these exploding Easter eggs is making the spring. And you can make a simple spring using any really springy wire. I'm using 16 gauge galvanized steel wire, which you can find this in most Walmarts or Home Depots, where you would find the wire to hang up picture frames. And the trick is to get it the right size to fit your eggs. And I found that using a 1-inch PVC pipe to coil the spring fits well in both small and medium-sized eggs. It helps to poke or drill a tiny hole in your PVC. Stick the end of the metal in there, and then all you do is rotate. And this ain't gotta be pretty, it ain't gotta be perfect. If you wanna make a lot of these, if you can chuck your PVC into a drill somehow, put a smaller piece of PVC or a piece of wood in there that you could then chuck into your drill, you could speed this process up a lot, but I'm just doing these by hand because I'm just making a few. When you have it to a length you want, take some tin snips, cut off the excess, pop it out, and then you have a very basic little spring. Important little safety note, the end of the spring will have metal just pointing essentially straight up, so I take it and bend it down to where it's pointing into the middle of the coil on both ends, because it's going to be popping out at probably children, so you don't want going in the eye. On another note, if you're leaving it as just the metal, like this one, I recommend putting a little piece of foam on the end of it, and I glue everything together using fabric tack. It sticks surprisingly well from like thin foam and fabric to this metal. And I super glue, and hot glue is not flexible enough. And super glue was also crunchy and didn't want to stick to certain materials and different type of fabric I've been playing with. But this fabric tack worked really well. But another note is covering it in a cloth makes it a lot thicker. So whereas this entire spring fits inside of a standard small egg, I know, right? Just in case you don't believe me. Boom. That entire thing. And you gotta be, some eggs click together better than others. They're pretty much little landmines once they're in there. But yep, that whole thing, and it's crazy. But if you're putting cloth on it, it will take up a lot more room when it compresses. So now this same one would have to go in a medium egg to fit with cloth. As far as making the cloth covering, it's pretty simple. You just take whatever really thin fabric you can find and cut it just a little bit longer than your spring, and then roll it over a little bit longer than needed to make a full circle around your spring. And then the easiest way, because I've struggled with getting the fabric to go all around it easily, that I have found is to take your fabric tack and run a bead along the edge, the uglier edge preferably, and then glue your spring down to it, and just let that dry for a minute or two. While you're waiting on it to dry, you can prepare your other springs. Once your spring's glued down pretty well to that first little line, roll it up to where the glued down part is at the top, and then run another bead of glue all the way down. And now, when you roll it the rest of the way, boom. A a burrito. Once it's dry, you can either come through and just cut off this excess fabric or run another bead of glue if it's not that much, just to finish tacking it down. More than like a ½ inch of excess fabric on the top, you're going to want to cut that down to about a ½ inch. Once you have just about a ½ inch of excess fabric, run a bead of glue all the way around that inner edge. You have a full circle of glue in there, and now we're just going to tuck it in. And it might take a second for this to grip, so just hold it in place for a second. And then work your way around. And now this also gives a little bit of a cushion to this outer edge, so if it points anyone, because these springs are not very strong, I'm not liable for anything, but these springs are not very strong and they're covered in a nice soft little fabric, so it should not hurt anything. And then do the same thing on the other side. And there you have it, a snake. You may have noticed the one I just made is a lot smaller than this one, and that's because you can actually fit multiple snakes in one egg. Four ended up being a bit too much, but I was able to fit 3 in this one. And that can be fun because you can make them different colors and they go in every direction and it's just a bit more of a blot. So you can either go for one big snake or a couple small snakes. It's really up to you. Okay, next egg. The second ridiculous egg is the screaming goat egg. It's silly, but I find it funny. I found these little speakers, little battery-powered speakers on Amazon. They're like little jokes. They have different sounds they make. You can make them make cricket noises and multiple screaming goats. And I just thought it would be funny to put one inside of an egg and use it as an excuse to hide this egg like really well, like out of sight. And the one I came with came in a pack of 2. So there will be 2 random eggs in the yard that just occasionally scream goat noises, and the kids have to seek them out and find them. And when they do pop it open, they'll find a little goat. Little goat screaming. Simple, ridiculous. I ordered a pack of 2 off of these off of Amazon, and I think it's funny. On to number 3. Our third egg, I'm not sure if I should call it Thor's egg, because the kids run up and they try to pull the egg off the tree, but it's literally mounted there and they can't. Or if I should call it egg pox, because it looks like the tree got some sort of Easter disease. But the funny thing here is they can run up and try to get it off and it won't budge, but if they accidentally pull the lid off, oh, there's a free floating egg inside. This is really easy to do and really cute too as an aesthetic. But you just need a medium egg and a smaller egg that fits inside it, and then you just take a screw, Luckily a lot of these eggs come with pre-made little holes. Screw it down to your tree and then pop it on. Easy as that. And then, oh, it's cute. You might want to spread these out rather than putting them all in one spot so one kid doesn't just get to them and knock them all off once they understand. But if they are all in one spot, it's really cute. Next egg. Next up might just be the meanest egg out of the whole list. Whoever finds this is going to think they found the grand prize. Then they open it, and there's another egg inside. And then 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 at the very end, a single Hershey Kiss. A Russian doll egg is hilarious, and I could definitely manage to find a medium egg between my full size and the next largest egg, but this is what I have to work with right now. Hopefully I can barter on Easter Day if anyone else has some intermediate sizes. And this large egg was a clear plastic one from Walmart, and I just got it and painted it gold with some gold spray paint because it was the biggest thing I could find. But yeah, I think this one's hilarious, and whoever finds it is going to be sorely disappointed if they only get a Hershey Kiss. But it's how the cookie crumbles. Next egg.
Our second to last egg is a flying egg, or egg from up. It's just a bunch of balloons tied together and then attached to some fishing line. And then this egg, it's hard for it to actually get it to lift much heavy things, so we found that $1 or $2 fits really well in a small egg and gets picked up by it really well. And the fun part is I'm going to put it 30 feet in the air using the fishing line. So, and I'm debating putting a small sign at the bottom of the string that says "pull me down," so the kids will find it and then they know to and they get their prize.
You gotta reel it in.
You gotta reel it in. But yeah, pretty simple one. Do a couple of them because the one kid finds the single one of these, all the other kids might be sad. But yeah, on to our final, last but not least egg. Oh my God! Look, 4 conveniently placed eggs. How lucky for me! Whoa! So remote control car, I'm calling this runaway eggs. And I'm again using fishing line because it's really hard to see, so the kids probably won't notice until they're running up to grab it. And then the eggs take off and they have to chase them, making them kids earn the eggs this year.
Not gonna lie, it feels really mean.
Yeah.
But also so fun to torture kids.
And if you have multiple remote control cars so that you can have multiple kids having to deal with this at the same time, it's just gonna be hilarious. But yeah, that's all of the egg ideas I have. Thanks for watching, and